The old house stood on a hill overlooking the vast expanse of the forest. It was a grand old building, once a symbol of wealth and status, but now it was weathered and worn, its paint peeling and its windows boarded up. The only sign of life was the plume of smoke that curled from its chimney, indicating that someone was still living there. Inside the house, a man named Thomas was preparing dinner. He was a solitary figure, living alone in the old house for many years. He had moved there after a series of unfortunate events had left him emotionally scarred and withdrawn from the world. Thomas was a skilled cook, and he took pride in preparing his meals. Tonight he was grilling fish in his backyard, enjoying the rare moment of warmth and sunshine that had pierced the gloom of the forest. As the fish sizzled on the grill, Thomas poured himself a glass of wine and sat down at the patio table. He took a sip of his wine and closed his eyes, savoring the moment of peace. Suddenly, a loud crash from inside the house jolted him back to reality. He jumped up and rushed inside, his heart pounding in his chest. The house was in disarray. Furniture was overturned, objects were scattered on the floor, and broken glass littered the carpet. Thomas's heart sank as he realized that he had been robbed, but as he began to survey the damage, he noticed something even more disturbing. There was a strange, eerie feeling in the air, a sense of dread that made his skin crawl. He heard a noise coming from upstairs and cautiously made his way up the creaking staircase. As he reached the top landing, he saw a dark figure standing at the end of the hallway. The figure was tall and slender, with a long, flowing black robe. Its face was obscured by the shadows, but Thomas could see its glowing red eyes. Thomas froze in terror, unable to move or speak. The figure glided towards him, its movements fluid and silent. As it drew closer, Thomas could make out more details of its appearance. Its skin was pale and gaunt, its eyes burned with an unnatural light, and its mouth was twisted into a sinister grin. Thomas knew that he was in danger, but he was too paralyzed by fear to do anything. The figure raised its hand, and a bolt of dark energy shot from its fingertips. Thomas screamed as the energy struck him, sending him flying backwards. He hit the wall with a sickening thud and fell to the floor unconscious. When he awoke, he was lying in his bed, the sun streaming through the window He sat up and looked around, his head throbbing. The house was quiet, and there was no sign of the dark figure. Thomas was shaken by the experience, but he tried to convince himself that it had been a nightmare. He got out of bed and went downstairs to make breakfast. As he was preparing his meal, he noticed something strange. There was a small red stain on the floor right where he had been standing when he saw the dark figure. Thomas's heart pounded in his chest. He knew that the figure had been real. He finished his food quickly and left the house. He drove to the nearest town and went to the police station. He told the police about what had happened, but they didn't believe him. They thought he was just a crazy old man. Thomas was devastated. He knew that no one would believe him, but he also knew that he couldn't stay in that house any longer. He sold the house and moved to a small apartment in the city. He tried to forget about what had happened, but the memory of the dark figure haunted him. He never knew what the figure was or why it had come after him, but he knew that he would never forget it. The end.